22. That's how many Florida cities just cracked one of the most closely watched rankings in the country. 22 out of 250 places nationwide, named among the very best places to live in America for 2026 and 2027. That's not a coincidence, and it's not luck, it's data. U.S. News and World Report just released its newest Best Places to Live rankings, built on 4 measures that matter more than curb appeal: value, quality of life, desirability, and job market strength. They looked at cost of living, crime rates, weather, healthcare access, education, air quality, environmental risk, local amenities, and household income, then asked thousands of Americans what actually matters when choosing where to put down roots. Florida showed up in force. From quiet panhandle communities to booming suburbs outside Orlando, from retirement havens to Gulf Coast strongholds, 22 Florida cities made the cut. Some you already know, some might surprise you. And one of them just cracked the top 15 in the entire nation. We're counting down all 22, starting with the city that squeaked onto the list, all the way to Florida's single highest-ranked place to live in America. Before we start counting down, if you're into rankings like this, real data on where Americans are actually moving and why, hit subscribe and tap that bell. We break down lists like this every week, and you don't want to miss when next year's rankings drop. Now, back to the countdown. Number 22, Bonita Springs, ranked 248th nationally. Tucked between Fort Myers to the north and Naples to the south in Lee County, Bonita Springs sits right on Florida's Gulf Coast, with Barefoot Beach and Bonita Beach Park just minutes away. The city built its reputation on golf course communities and gated neighborhoods, drawing retirees and remote workers who want beach access without Naples-level home prices. It's a smaller market, which means fewer big employers, but its location between 2 larger job centers means residents commute either direction for work. U.S. News credits the ranking to strong desirability scores driven by weather and outdoor lifestyle, even as affordability drags the overall number down. Coming in at the bottom of Florida's 22, Bonita Springs still beat out hundreds of other American cities to make this list at all. Number 21, Pembroke Pines, ranked 246th nationally. With more than 170,000 residents, this Broward County city is one of the largest suburbs in the Miami metro area, sitting west of Hollywood and just north of Miramar. Pembroke Pines built its identity around planned communities, top-rated public schools, and family-friendly parks. It's a city built almost entirely after 1960, so the infrastructure is newer than most of South Florida. The trade-off is South Florida pricing. Home values and property taxes run well above the state average, which keeps its overall U.S. News score in the middle of the pack. Still, strong scores for schools and job access inside the broader Miami-Fort Lauderdale job market were enough to land Pembroke Pines at number 21 on Florida's list of 22. Number 20, Ormond Beach, ranked 236th nationally. Sitting just north of Daytona Beach in Volusia County, Ormond Beach carries the nickname the birthplace of speed, thanks to early 20th century automobile races held on its hard-packed sand. Today, it's a quieter alternative to its more famous neighbor with tree-canopied streets, the Ormond Loop Scenic Corridor, and access to the Halifax River and the Atlantic without Daytona's crowds. Median home values sit below the coastal Florida average, making it one of the more accessible beach communities on this list. U.S. News scored it well on quality of life and weather, though job growth remains modest since most residents commute toward Daytona Beach or Deltona for work. That combination was enough to place Ormond Beach at number 20 on Florida's 22-city list. Number 19, Tampa, ranked 228th nationally. And yes, that surprises people. With close to 400,000 residents, Tampa is one of the largest cities in the state, home to Port Tampa Bay, MacDill Air Force Base, and a fast-growing finance and technology sector that's pulled major employers south from the Northeast. So why does Florida's third biggest city rank behind 22,000-person towns? Cost. Insurance premiums, property taxes, and home prices have climbed faster than incomes in Hillsborough County over the past few years, dragging down the value score that makes up a quarter of the U.S. News formula. Add in Tampa Bay's traffic and heat, and the numbers pull a major metro down the list. Still, strong job market and desirability scores were enough to land Tampa at number 19 out of Florida's 22. Number 18. Wellington, ranked 226th nationally. West of West Palm Beach in Palm Beach County, Wellington built a global reputation as the winter equestrian capital of the world, drawing riders and spectators from across the planet every winter season. Away from the show rings, it's a planned suburban community with top-rated schools, low crime, and a median household income well above the state average. That affluence comes at a price. Housing costs in Wellington run significantly higher than most of Florida, and that gap between income and cost of living is exactly what U.S. News penalizes in its value score. High desirability, high quality of life, but a rough affordability number kept Wellington out of the national top 200. Still, it's one of Palm Beach County's 2 entries on this list, landing at number 18. Number 17. Claremont, ranked 222nd nationally. West of Orlando in Lake County, Claremont sits in one of the only genuinely hilly parts of the state, earning it the nickname Choice of Champions after National Training Center athletes started using its terrain to prepare for triathlons and the Olympics. The Claremont chain of lakes gives the city miles of waterfront without the coastal price tag, and its population has more than doubled since 2010 as Orlando's suburbs push further west. That growth is a double-edged sword. Traffic on Highway 50 has worsened, and home prices have climbed alongside demand, but job access to Greater Orlando kept Claremont's overall score competitive. U.S. News landed it at number 17 on Florida's 22-city list. Number 16. Brandon, ranked 217th nationally. East of downtown Tampa in Hillsborough County, Brandon is one of Florida's largest unincorporated communities, with more than 100,000 residents packed into a suburb that has no city hall or mayor of its own. What it does have is proximity, a 15 to 20-minute drive into downtown Tampa, direct access to Interstate 75, and home prices that still run noticeably below Tampa proper. That affordability to access ratio is exactly what pushed Brandon's value score up in the U.S. News rankings. The trade-off is density. Brandon has grown so fast that local schools and roads are stretched thinner than in newer planned communities further out. Even so, it landed comfortably at number 16 out of Florida's 22 best places to live. Number 15. Naples, ranked 215th nationally. On the Gulf Coast in Collier County, Naples is one of the wealthiest small cities in America, known for the Naples Pier, Fifth Avenue South, and some of the cleanest beaches on Florida's west coast. It consistently posts some of the lowest crime rates and highest quality of life scores in the entire U.S. News data set. So why isn't it higher? Cost. Median home values in Naples run several times the national average, and that gap between price and typical income is enough to sink even a city with near-perfect livability scores. Naples proves a point that shows up again and again on this list in U.S. News formula: affordability carries as much weight as everything else combined. Beautiful, safe, and desirable, Naples still lands at number 15 because of the price of admission. Number 14, Homosassa Springs, ranked 205th nationally. With roughly 14,000 residents, this is one of the smallest communities on Florida's list. Tucked along the Gulf Coast in Citrus County north of Tampa, Homosassa Springs is best known for its natural spring, a year-round 72-degree pool that draws manatees by the hundreds every winter, protected inside Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. It's a slower pace of life than almost anywhere else on this countdown, with a rural feel, wide-open land, low density, and home prices that remain some of the most accessible in the entire state. Job opportunities are limited locally, and most residents commute toward Ocala or the greater Tampa area. But for retirees and remote workers prioritizing cost and quiet over convenience, that trade-off was enough to land Homosassa Springs at number 14. Number 13, The Villages, ranked 186th nationally. Spanning 3 counties, Sumter, Lake, and Marion, The Villages is the largest age-restricted retirement community on Earth, with a road network built as much for golf carts as for cars. It has its own town squares, its own newspaper, and one of the highest concentrations of recreational amenities of any community in the country. Dozens of golf courses, recreation centers, and community pools built specifically for residents 55 and older. That specialization is exactly why it ranks where it does, U.S. News scores factor in job market strength for the general population, and the Villages simply isn't designed around traditional employment. For retirees, though, low crime, warm weather, and community-first design make it one of the most desirable places on this entire list, landing at number 13. Number 12, Apopka, ranked 178th nationally. Northwest of Orlando in Orange County, Apopka earned the nickname Indoor Foliage Capital of the World, thanks to a nursery and greenhouse industry that supplies houseplants across the country. Beyond agriculture, Apopka sits along the Wakiva River, giving residents access to spring-fed waterways and state park land most Orlando suburbs don't have. The city has grown quickly over the past decade as Orlando's job market expanded outward, and home prices, while rising, still sit below those in Orlando proper. U.S. News gave Apopka solid marks across job market and desirability, with value scores helped by that relative affordability compared to its neighbor to the southeast. Altogether, that combination pushed Apopka to number 12 on Florida's countdown. Number 11. Jupiter, ranked 170th nationally. As the northernmost town in Palm Beach County, Jupiter sits where the Loxahatchee River meets the Atlantic, marked by the historic Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse. It's home to Roger Dean Stadium, spring training grounds for two major league teams, along with miles of protected beachfront and some of the least crowded coastline in South Florida. Median household income here runs well above the state average, and job access to the broader Palm Beach and Treasure Coast markets adds to its appeal. The catch is familiar by now: coastal South Florida pricing. Home values in Jupiter rank among the highest of any city on this list, which capped its value score even as nearly every other category scored well. Strong desirability landed Jupiter at number 11 overall. Number 10, Crestview, ranked 163rd nationally and our first top 10 entry. Crestview is the largest city in Okaloosa County and its county seat, sitting inland in the Florida Panhandle roughly 30 miles north of the Gulf beaches around Destin and Fort Walton Beach. Its economy leans heavily on Eglin Air Force Base, one of the largest Air Force installations in the world, which anchors thousands of military and civilian jobs in the area. Because it sits inland rather than on the coast, Crestview's home prices run noticeably lower than the beach towns nearby, while residents still reach Gulf beaches in well under an hour. That affordability to access balance, combined with steady job growth tied to the base, pushed Crestview into the top 10 Florida cities on this entire U.S. news list. Number 9, Doral, ranked 161st nationally. West of downtown Miami in Miami-Dade County, Doral has transformed over the past 2 decades from mostly agricultural land into one of South Florida's biggest business hubs, home to corporate offices, international trade companies, and a rapidly growing population with deep ties to Venezuela and other parts of Latin America. Doral's job market score is one of the strongest on this entire list, driven by its concentration of corporate headquarters and proximity to Miami International Airport. Housing costs run high, in line with the rest of Miami-Dade, but strong incomes in the area help offset that in the value calculation. Golf courses and green space add to its desirability score. All combined, Doral's numbers were strong enough to land it at number 9, Florida's highest-ranked entry from Miami-Dade County. Number 8, Alafaya, ranked 159th nationally. East of downtown Orlando in Orange County, Alafaya is home to the University of Central Florida, one of the largest universities in the country by enrollment. With close to 93,000 residents, it functions almost like a college town stitched into the edge of a major metro, giving it a younger median age than almost anywhere else on this list. That university presence drives steady demand for housing and services, keeping the local job market tied closely to education, research, and the businesses that orbit a campus of that size. Home prices remain moderate compared to Orlando's more established neighborhoods, helping Alafaya's value score. Strong marks across job market and affordability pushed it to number 8, Florida's second highest entry from the Orlando metro area. Number 7, Kendall, ranked 155th nationally. Southwest of downtown Miami, Kendall is one of Miami-Dade County's largest and most established suburbs, known for its shopping corridors, well-regarded public and charter schools, and a population that reflects Miami's broader diversity, with large Cuban, Colombian, and other Latin American communities calling it home. Job access to both downtown Miami and the growing business districts along US 1 gives Kendall strong desirability and job market scores. Like most of Miami-Dade, housing costs run above the national average, but Kendall's prices still sit below the more expensive coastal parts of the county, which helped its value score relative to neighbors like Doral. That balance of access, diversity, and relative affordability for the area pushed Kendall to number 7 on Florida's countdown. Number 6, Spring Hill, ranked 121st nationally and our first entry to crack the top 130. North of Tampa in Hernando County, Spring Hill grew explosively in the 1970s and 80s as a planned community marketed heavily to retirees and budget-conscious families, leaving more expensive parts of the state. With more than 100,000 residents today, it remains one of the most affordable places to live on this entire list, with home values sitting well below both the state and national median. That affordability is the single biggest driver of its high ranking. U.S. News value category rewards exactly this kind of gap between income and cost of living, and Spring Hill delivers it better than almost anywhere else in Florida. That pushed it all the way to number 6. Number 5, Pensacola, ranked 115th nationally. Anchoring the far western edge of the Florida Panhandle in Escambia County, Pensacola built its identity around Naval Air Station Pensacola, home of the Blue Angels Flight Demonstration Squadron and a major driver of the local economy alongside healthcare and shipbuilding. Its historic downtown, sugar-white beaches on Pensacola Beach and Perdido Key, and a cost of living below the national average combined to give it one of the strongest overall balances on this entire list. Unlike the pricier South Florida entries, Pensacola pairs solid job access with genuinely affordable housing, which is a rare combination this far up the rankings. That balance of history, coastline, military-driven employment, and affordability carried Pensacola to number 5, its highest showing of any Panhandle city on this list. Number 4, Riverview, ranked 97th nationally, our first entry inside the national top 100. Southeast of Tampa in Hillsborough County, Riverview has been one of the fastest-growing suburbs in the entire country over the past decade, built almost entirely around master-planned communities with their own schools, parks, and shopping centers. That planned growth is exactly what U.S. News rewards: newer infrastructure, strong school ratings, and a job market tied directly into Greater Tampa's expanding economy. Home prices have climbed as demand increased, but they remain more accessible than closer-in Tampa neighborhoods, keeping Riverview's value score competitive even as its population keeps climbing. Strong scores across nearly every category, quality of life, job market, and desirability, pushed Riverview to number 4, Florida's highest-ranked suburb on this entire list. Number 3, Weston, ranked 70th nationally. Tucked against the edge of the Everglades in western Broward County, Weston was built entirely as a planned community starting in the 1990s. And it shows. Wide tree-lined streets, top-rated public schools, and a median household income well above both the state and national averages have made it one of South Florida's most consistently high-scoring cities. Weston posts some of the lowest crime rates of any city on this countdown, paired with strong job access into Fort Lauderdale and Miami's broader economy. Even with above-average housing costs, the combination of safety, schools, and income was strong enough to push its value score into positive territory. That all-around strength landed Weston at number 3, its highest finish of any Broward County city on this list. Number 2, Palm Harbor, ranked 62nd nationally, just barely missing the top 50 in the entire country. North of Clearwater in Pinellas County, Palm Harbor combines Gulf Coast access with a lower-key, more residential feel than its bigger beachfront neighbors. It's home to the Innisbrook Resort golf courses, John Chestnut Sr., park along Lake Tarpon, and a school district that consistently ranks among the best in the Tampa Bay area. Palm Harbor scored exceptionally well across nearly every U.S. News category: strong job access into Greater Tampa and Clearwater, high quality of life marks, and home prices that, while not cheap, remain more reasonable than the Barrier Island communities just to its west. That across-the-board strength made Palm Harbor the second highest ranked city in the entire state of Florida. Number 1, Parkland, ranked 14th in the entire United States, the single highest-ranked city in the state of Florida. Located in northwest Broward County, Parkland is one of the wealthiest and safest cities in the entire state, with a median household income above $198,000, more than double the national figure. Homes here run large, spacious, mostly newer construction built after 2000, with median values pushing toward the $1 million mark. Parkland consistently posts some of the lowest crime rates of any city its size in the country, and its schools rank among the highest performing in Broward County. What separates Parkland from every other city on this list is balance. Near-perfect marks for safety and quality of life, combined with strong job access into the broader Fort Lauderdale and Miami economy, without the value score collapsing the way it did for pricier coastal cities. That combination made Parkland not just Florida's best entry, but one of the 14 best places to live anywhere in the United States for 2026 and 2027. 22 cities, one state, and a spread that stretches from a 14,000-person spring town on the Gulf Coast all the way to a national top 15 finish in Broward County. What ties them together isn't sunshine or palm trees, it's balance. Every city that made this list found some version of the same formula: affordable enough to offset its cost of living, safe enough to score well on quality of life, and connected enough to a real job market to keep desirability high. Miss any one of those three, and even a beautiful, low-crime city like Naples gets pulled down the rankings by price alone. U.S. News pulled these rankings from thousands of survey responses and hard data across housing, income, crime, healthcare, and weather, and Florida proved once again that it can compete with anywhere in the country when the numbers are weighed fairly. 22 cities made the cut this year. The real question is, which Florida city climbs onto next year's list? Thanks for sticking with us through all 22. If this kind of breakdown is your thing, hit subscribe so you don't miss next year's list when it drops, and drop a comment letting us know which city surprised you most. We'll see you in the next one.